Commission will now take up matters to do with special one-day license for alcoholic beverages, specifically malt beverages and wine only. First application is by Mark Caputo of Say LLC for Thursday, January 14, 2010. The event is from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's a pre-Valentine Day social at 177 Merrimack Street, the business address of Say. Also for beer and wine only, John Dyson of the Merrimack Repertory Theater at Liberty Hall, 50 East Merrimack Street, for theatrical performances in 30 minutes prior to the performance and during a 15-minute intermission. There are 19 dates starting with this evening, January 7th, running through and inclusive of January 31st, 2010. Also, John Dyson of the Merrimack Repertory Theater has, looking in anticipation of the second theatrical production of the calendar year, starting with February 11th, running through February 21st. It'll be at 9 dates for Mr. Dyson. In addition, Ed Cyrus of the Merrimack Repertory Theater at Liberty Hall will take up the balance of that particular production, starting with February the 24th and running through and inclusive of March 7, 2010. That's 10 dates. For that second theatrical production will be in total of 19 dates. Also, Ed Cyrus of the Merrimack Repertory Theater, in anticipation of the third theatrical production of the calendar year, starting March 18th, and will run through and inclusive of April the 11th, 2010, total of 19 dates.
Introduce yourself for the record.
Mark Caputo, Say LLC.
Okay?
John Dyson, Merrimack Repertory Theater.
Okay?
Ed Cyrus from Merrimack Repertory Theater.
Okay. Have you been before us before, the both of you? Yes. Oh, yeah. You have, okay. Just, Mark, tell us a little bit. You step up to the mic, I'm going to give you a free commercial. Tell us what you're going to do for Valentine's Day for beer and wine. What's going to happen?
Pretty much our event is for the Chamber of Commerce is having a mixer.
Oh, okay.
Hosted
okay.
at,
okay.
it's a pre-Valentine's
So this
Day.
isn't some where you're going to be open for the general public to
No, it's a
walk
private
in?
event.
Okay, fine. No problem at all. Okay, gentlemen, I don't need to remind you, this is your license. It is not the Merrimack Theater. It's not the City of Lowell. It's not the Lowell Memorial Order. It's your license. It's going to be in your name. You ever have to be vigilant, people coming in, let's go out, have a few drinks, go to dinner, you know, bye-bye. Then they go down to the theater and they fall on the stairs and somebody said, what happened? He said, oh, I had a couple of glasses of wine at the theater. So, you know, you need to make sure you watch yourself. You need to be aware of what's going on. You need to make sure that the people standing behind there, even though it's just for 15 minutes, you know, you get these, and the theater gets them. I know a lot of people wouldn't want us to believe that people would, but there are people in the theater, let's knock down 3 or 4 beers in 15 minutes and they're half looped. And you need to watch out for that because that's the kind of thing that gets you in trouble. Okay, any questions at all about anything? None. Hearing no questions.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Good luck, best of luck to you.
Longer than MRT, that was planned all the way up to the end of March.
Next on the agenda.
Is Attorney Michael Zame here?
Okay, I'm gonna have to bow out on you guys. Have fun.
We want to just go to the next one? since it's not here?
Let's go to the next one, Mike's not here.
Matter the Commission will now take up for consideration is an application by the Grand Duke of Lithuania Vytautas Club, an all-alcoholic beverage club licensee at 447 Central Street. It's a request for a change of manager of record to Mark D. Levitt of Hudson, New Hampshire.
Introduce yourself for the record, sir.
I'm Mark David Levitt.
Okay, who is presently the manager of the club?
The name on the license now, gentlemen, is John Peradina Jr., who passed away back in 2009.
Okay. And have you been more or less involved with the running of the club?
I've been an officer at the club for 32 years.
Whoa, very good. Very good. Strictly by membership?
Yes, it's, as you know or may not know, it's of Lithuanian heritage, and I married, my wife is Lithuanian, and her father was a member there for over 50 years.
Okay.
Who passed away in the year 2000.
Okay. Have we had any problems with this club, Jack? No. None? Okay. You got to understand that if you are the manager of the club, you are the manager 24/7, 365 days of the year. You might be in Florida, laying on the beach somewhere. Let me tell you something. You're still responsible for what goes on in that club. And the best words that can be uttered here is what Captain Webb just said. We've had no problems. We don't know you. We don't want to know you. We only want you to come in here once and then leave, and hopefully we'll never see you again. You just send your check in and it doesn't bounce. You know, then everybody's happy, the city's happy, everybody's happy. But it's a big responsibility. And again, as I said to you, the people that preceded you, you always must remember that this is your license. It's not the club's license, it's your license. You are the manager of record. Something goes wrong, you are responsible, okay? So, you know, you've got a great reputation. We want to make sure you keep it up. You do a lot of good in the community. Hopefully, you know, everything will go all right.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Yeah, I live in the neighborhood. You guys are a good neighborhood. You guys are good neighbors, so I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
You're all set.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You're welcome.
Mr. Levitt, that'll be a matter for the Alcohol Beverages Control Commission to approve as well.
Okay? And you let me know about the date, right?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You have to, just sort of, you know, every once in a while, they'll come around and spot check. Now, if they should by chance send an inspector to the club, you are not the manager. If a police officer, anybody walks in, you are not the manager of that club. Make sure you remember that. Until it clears Boston and comes back, you are not the manager. So somebody say, you know, where's the manager? He died. He's up Edson Cemetery, you know.
I understand.
Okay?
I understand. Thank you, gentlemen.
All righty.
The rest you could say.
Yes.
Nothing.
I just had a question.
A few technical matters.
Okay. I'm going to slip out.
Are you stepping away?
Yeah, because I'm going to step out of the next hearing because I recused myself on the last, and it wouldn't be kosher.
Matter now before the commission is a continuation of a hearing that had convened December 17, 2009, at which time Commissioner Bayless had made it clear that he had a conflict, and that conflict at the time, the fact that the commission was, without his action, we would not have had a quorum for the meeting or for the hearing, so the matter was continued to this date. The hearing is on the application for a malt beverage and wine only packaged goods store license by Yashoda Corp., doing business as Economart, Samir P. Patel, treasurer, for premises at 1280 Lawrence Street, one unnumbered door west side of the building, one room for retail, approximately 1,300 square feet. It is requested that Samir P. Patel be approved as the manager of record for Yashoda Corporation. Members of the commission, Attorney Zame, representing the licensed applicant, had filed notice, an affidavit of having notified property owners touching in any church, school, or hospital within a 500-foot radius.
All right, for the record, please introduce yourself.
My name is Attorney Michael Zame from the Zame Law Firm. I represent the Yashoda Corporation. I have with me here today Mr. Samir Patel, who is the president and the proposed manager of the Economart, Yashoda Corporation, doing business as Economart, location on Lawrence Street, as Mr. Wynn had indicated. Just before we get going, as a matter, just a housekeeping measure, Mr. Wynn, I do have some additional green cards that have come back since the last hearing I'd like to present to you for your records. And does this go to a public hearing first?
Yeah, what do you want to?
Yeah, that's fine.
Sure, well, I mean,
Well,
why
let's
don't you tell us what you want to do?
What are you gonna, what's the plan for the store right now?
The plan for the store is, I don't know if you're familiar with the location. This is in a plaza over at 1280 Lawrence Street. In the same plaza, there's a barber shop, there's a Brando's Sub Shop, there's a laundromat, a self-serve laundromat, and the Economat, which is a convenience store that's been run by Mr. Patel, and it's a family-run business between his wife, his brother's wife, and his mother and father. Take turns manning the store over there. They've been in business over there about 5 years. They have grown with the neighborhood. They've grown with the needs of the community. And as they started out as a basic convenience store, they've added things to that. Lottery. They sell Keno. They sell cigarettes. They have a Western Union facility where they can wire money that they serve the neighborhood with. As the economy has gotten worse, and other surrounding locations have applied for and been granted licenses to sell beer and wine, what Mr. Patel and his family are finding is that in order to stay alive and to compete in the business that they're in, that they need to expand their business to include, and that's why they're here today before you, to ask you to grant them a license to sell beer and wine. They have, it's a small store, and it's something that they need. They've found that since other locations in the area have gotten licenses to sell, they find that people are stopping there and picking up the other items that they would normally stop in, such as they go in, they pick up their wine or their beer, and they don't stop in at their store to buy their cigarettes, their lottery, their newspapers, and the other convenient items. So that's the reason they're here before you today. The application has been submitted. You've had some, I think all the police, there's no issue with the police department in terms of the background checks or anything prohibitive in that would prevent them from having a license.
Has the current clientele requested that you sell beer and wine?
We actually do there are people here to speak to that matter. We do know that there is a considerable amount of people in the neighborhood to speak for it, and there's some here we know to speak against. But that has been, they've found that, that people, when they did not get it the last time they were here about a year and 13 months ago, when they did not get it, people, geez, that's too bad because I would have got it here versus somewhere else. So they do feel as though it's worth their investment in a license to try this out and to see if they can provide a better service, a better, more competitive price, and consistent with public good and the need for it in the neighborhood. There's a lot of foot traffic in the area. There's a condominium complex right behind them. There are several apartments and condominium complexes located directly across, diagonally across the street to your right and to your left. And they do have a lot of foot traffic. Additionally, I think what this location has is a little bit more beneficial than some of the other areas, other locations in the area, is ample parking. It's off-street parking where people can, again, pull in off the street. They're not parking on a side street there or a main drag. They can come off, they can park, they can come in and come out safely. It's a well-lit parking lot. And like I said, they need this to be able to continue to be competitive with the other businesses in the area. And that's what they're asking for, to be able to, the chance to survive in this difficult economy.
And you currently sell tobacco? Is that?
They do have a license to sell cigarettes. They do have a license.
Have they ever been reprimanded for selling to an underage purchaser of tobacco? No.
No, my understanding, and I did think there was one in the file, that they did get a letter saying they were tested and had passed the test by not, carding the person that the City of Lowell traffic tobacco officer had come in and presented. So.
And then you completed a tips course, it says in your packet?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And what are your hours?
7 in the morning to 10 at night.
Okay. And would those be the hours? If,
Yes.
Okay. So you're not planning on expanding the hours at all if you get this?
No.
Okay. All right. And are you there, or how many employees do you have?
It's basically run by the family, and I have 4 people we are working there.
And were they all successfully tips trained, or was it just you?
I'm planning on doing that in future.
Because I think, you know, if we were to find favorably on your application, that's a big concern, that the people that are working in that convenience store have to know how to correctly check the proper identification and, you know, other rules and regulations that come along with possessing a beer and wine license.
If I may, Mr. Commissioner Occasion, that my clients also indicated to me that upon successful, they will install the scanner system that's been recommended by this board to several other establishments as well. So that's something that he did the course in anticipation, you know, to say that, yes, I'm here, I'm certified, I do have the credentials for that purpose. And again, it is that he is willing to make the investment. This family spends an incredible amount of time running this. It's a family-run business, and the 4 of them, when he says 4 employees, he means himself, his wife, his mother, and his brother and his wife, so.
Should we open it up?
I don't, yeah, unless you have.
Yeah, is there anything from the,
No, we have nothing to report.
all right. Well, why don't we open it up for public hearing? Anyone to speak in favor, in favor, in favor?
My name is Harash Patel. I'm brother of Samir, and we've been running business for 5 years without any problems, and we try to provide public needs to the community, and I think having a beer and wine license would make us more attractable to the public so they can come in and we can grow our business. And I'm in favor of it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in favor? In favor?
My name is Angela Zeleneski. I shop there all the time. And I don't like the store that's down the street that has the liquor license. So I'd rather be able to go there and buy the stuff that I need to buy all at once instead of stopping at 2 different stores.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is James Wilcox, and I live in the immediate neighborhood of them. I don't believe that having alcohol there is going to change anything about the neighborhood. I've seen children there, but they come in the afternoon right after school, and they're gone. I've never seen any activity in the parking lot that would change for there being alcohol there. Cigarette prices have gone up for everyone, so they need to find some way to be stable with their money, you know? So I totally am for them 100%.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Stephen Krause. I live at 1340 Lawrence Street. And I've been going down the store for about 6 or 7 years now, and they do a nice job down there, and I'm in favor of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello, my name's Gary Donnelly. I live in the neighborhood. I grew up in the neighborhood. I lived there all my life. I live on Lawrence Street, right down the street from the store. And I know Sam and his family, I'm in there every day, and they run a nice, clean place, and they're respectable. And I'd like to see them, you know, get a break and probably make more money, because it's a tough economy right now, and everybody's suffering. I hope you approve it.
All right. Thank you.
My name is Dennis Braga, and I live directly across the street from Sim's place. And I walk there almost every day, and I don't have to drive my car anyway. I get all my stuff over there. And I think you should have a chance of getting his license. Make it easy for everybody. Thanks.
Hi,
John McCarthy. I've worked at Tewksbury Home Depot for 16 years now, lived in that neighborhood for 14 years, and I travel that way on the way home. And the owners of this place have been really nice to me and my family, and I agree with it.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Joseph Bibawi. I own pizzeria next to Sam, Brando's Pizza. I wish he has a license. He can make some business for him and business for me too, when people come around. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else in favor? That portion of the hearing being closed. Is there anyone to speak in opposition? In opposition? In opposition?
My name is Reverend Horace Clayton. I am Associate Pastor at the Lawrence Street Church. I am also a member of the Board of Trustees for our national church, which we are in control of all buildings and properties in the Primitive Methodist Church in the United States. I am also a person who grew up in that general area of Lowell. I'm not just a person who's come in to serve. Otherwise, I feel that this is not a positive thing for the neighborhood. I observed from the end of Lawrence Street all the way up to the end of Boylston Street, many businesses that serve alcohol in some shape or form. This board granted, I believe 2 years ago now, one almost directly across the street from the church. I believe this is just a few hundred yards down the road. And I think we have, for the neighborhood and for the population, more than enough of this type of business. I am in sympathy for those who cannot make a living, if you will, in the business they're in. But as an article in the Sun just recently named an awful lot of businesses that can't make it. And I feel it's detrimental to just offer beer and wine to keep a business open, just for the sake of that. I know even, I believe there was just one, and correct me if I'm wrong, a license of this type granted to a fuel and convenience store at the intersection of 495 and Woburn Street. So, I mean, I don't think there's any hardship as far as the buying of the alcohol of any shape or form. So I don't believe. My problem is, even if I look across the street, the business that was granted, it becomes, to me, a form of a package store and a lottery and keno establishment. When I have gone into this type of business, most of the product on the shelves just barely make it a convenience store. For the most part, it becomes gambling, cigarettes, and alcohol. And I believe it is not something that this neighborhood needs at this time. I don't see any great expansion of population over the years that would warrant this many businesses of this type. And I think just on value, there is no real need for this type of establishment. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Edward T. Haddad Jr. I come here today to speak on behalf of my wife, Denise E. Haddad. She owns the Belvedere Barber Shop at 1274 Lawrence Street in that plaza. She's also supplied me with a list of names, a petition of 102 names of people that are against this license being granted. These are customers of her shop. If I might, to whom it may concern, I am the owner of the Belvedere Barber Shop at 1274 Lawrence Street, Lowell. I also own a home here in Lowell for the past 20 years. I was just told about the Economat wanting to get a beer and wine license again. I don't think we need another liquor store in this area, as we have one less than a block away. That just opened a year ago in Jerry's convenience store, which now looks more like a liquor store. Most of my customers don't want to see one here. The neighbors don't want to have this. The plaza already has kids that hang around asking my customers to go into the Economat and buy cigarettes for them, and there's a homeless lady asking for cigarettes and money. What will be next? Drunks asking my customers for money for alcohol? When I opened this business 6 years ago, I picked this area for it was neighborhood friendly. I have built this business into a place that people want to come to with their kids. I don't feel a liquor store will give this feeling. This plaza is also a school bus stop. I know I don't live right in the immediate area, but I'm here over 55 hours a week. My husband and I clean this lot and empty the trash cans to help make the area look nice. Who's going to do this if they have beer bottles lying around? The Economat is set back and cannot see what goes on out in the plaza. Are they going to put up outside cameras to see the whole plaza? Or will they be able to have at least 2 staff on that will go out and see if people are hanging around? One of my fears would be that after people buy alcohol, there's a possibility it will be consumed on the plaza. Please don't let another liquor store open in this area, as we already have several within a mile and a half. I got word that the gas station on Woburn Street, near 495, will be selling beer and wine as of the 1st of January. That will make 5 places that sell beer and wine in a little over a mile. Thank you sincerely, Denise E. Haddad, Belvedere Barbershop, 1274 Lawrence Street. If you gentlemen would like to have a copy of this letter.
Sure. Thank you.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. My name is Bill Ronsley. I am an abutter. I am directly behind the store. I have lived and owned this unit in the condominiums for over 30 years. Thus, I have an interest. I and my wife do frequent the store for the purchase of lottery tickets. We have observed any time or day that the store is open, there's a group of people there for the purpose of gambling. I got nothing against gambling. I just think that beer and wine attracts more people. And besides, if I need a beer, I can walk 200 yards to another beer and wine store. I see no need, no anything for another beer and wine store. I am very sympathetic to Mr. Patel that he needs to stay in business and make money, as all do. I also lost a business a while back. It's just that I think you cannot find a justifiable need for another beer and wine license within 200 yards of the last one. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Glenn Kendall. I live directly behind the proposed location. I own a condominium unit there. I'm a resident there, and I'm a trustee there. And reiterating what other people have said, the parking lot is used as a school bus stop. It's a safety issue for the children that are out there. The storefronts are set back from the street, and the convenience store is in a corner that's actually set back a car length further than the other 3 stores. I have a Google map of it if you'd like to take a look. I don't know if you people are familiar with the actual location of it. The convenience store is the picture on the far left that's actually set back 1 more car length behind the other stores. 6 years ago, prior to there being a barber shop in the location, the building owner went in front of the building department for a variance to make an addition onto the building. At that time, a lot of the abutters came to that meeting and were inquiring as to whether or not he had intentions to put a liquor store in there. It was basically a stopping block for us. When he said he had no intentions of putting a liquor store there, we had no objections to him adding the location, and since then, it's been the Belvedere Barbershop owned by Denise, who was a wonderful tenant. It's a wonderful location. My children go there. It's set up as a sports-type motif. It's very, very children-friendly. Again, there is a liquor store down the street, a beer and wine location. It's less than 1,000 feet. When I was here last year, when they made the petition, there was a petitioner at the time. The board explained to us. It was told to us by one of the board members. I'm not exactly sure which one of you spoke. I believe it may have been you, sir. But you told how an Iraq war vet with a young family had purchased a convenience store and wanted to add beer and wine at the time. We were told that the board at that time denied the request, stating that he had purchased the store without a beer and wine license, and due to the closeness of another store with a license, his petition was denied. Nothing has changed. This store is still within 1,000 feet of another location. As Attorney Zane pointed out, this store does have ample off-street parking, and that is actually one of my concerns. In contrast to Jerry's, this store has parking that is off-street and setback. The store presently has Keno, which occupies about 20% of the store, and my fear is that people will either purchase beverages and sit in their car, drinking the alcoholic beverages while keeping an eye on their Keno tickets, or exactly while they're doing their laundry in the self-serve laundromat next door that's oftentimes unoccupied by the owner. Again, as has been told, this remote location already serves as a hangout for teenagers, particularly after dark, when it's extremely difficult to see the back corner of the store. If you'll notice in the picture by the dumpster, they kind of hang out there. It's right on the bank of a brook, a culvert area, and the kids kind of sit on the bank of that culvert and smoke not only cigarettes but other aroma-filled scents that come from there. I foresee them sitting there drinking alcohol as well, and being a resident right behind there, I'd like not to see that. So, thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Cheryl Warner. I live directly behind the convenience store. If you walk right outside, the convenience store is right in front of me. I have a couple of concerns. One of my major concerns is that I go on my back porch at night, I love the convenience store, I shop there, I play Keno, I play lottery, I buy groceries, they're great people. But they do not have something that sees around the corner with the kids hanging. I have gone out on my back porch, I have stopped the kids from hanging there. I have called the cops in regards to smelling of pot and things like that. I don't think it's just a kid's issue. I think it's an adult issue. There are guys that come out of, or girls, women, whatever, that come out of the convenience store that go have their cigarettes on the side. You can't see them. So they're gonna go over there, have a couple of beers, drink. I'm sorry, me, my family, we all live there. I don't wanna walk out, go to the convenience store, have to walk around them as they're drunk. Same with the parking. Jerry's has a liquor license. It's less than 1,000 feet away. People don't hang there. They pull up, they get their beer, they leave. I'm afraid with this parking lot, they're gonna sit in the car. They're gonna drink. There's a bus stop that's there. The kids get off there. The kids do hang there. I will bring you in 100 pictures of kids hanging there. You can't tell me kids do not hang there. In the summer, they're hanging there. There's a little sign thing. They sit on the sign. They drink their tonic. I don't see a need for it. There is one not that far away. You know, the store has lottery tickets. They have groceries. It's a convenience store. It's not a package store. Jerry's has become a package store. Walk by there. There isn't one grocery sign in the window. It's all liquor stores that they said wasn't going to be that has become that. I just don't see the need for it. I have major, major concerns being right behind them. I do the Brando's, I order pizza, I don't use the laundromat, I go to the barber shop, my husband, my son go to the barber shop. It is very family-orientated, kids-orientated, which people, family, kids, everyone goes into the convenience store too, but there's one less than 1,000 feet away. I do not see the need for another one at all. And again, the lighting, the concern of there only being one person in the store, how are they gonna see what's going on around the corner? How are they going to come out and see the guy getting, or the girl getting the case of beer and the six-pack of beer, drinking, throwing the bottles on the ground? Those are my concerns.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Michelle DeBert, and I own one of the condos there. My concern is basically not having it. because I've go to the store, get my tickets, the whole bit, and there's only 700 feet to the next liquor thing. They can walk, drive, whatever. My thing is, I've been approached by kids, oh, buy me a pack of cigarettes, buy me a pack of cigarettes. No, it ain't gonna happen. And if you have that clientele, now you're gonna have young adults trying to want their first beer or experience. Don't need it. There's enough of that around within the area. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Henry Sykes. I'm live at 1302 Lawrence Street. Been in business at Sykes Florist for 62 years, and this family run now with my children. And I just want to let people know that this has been a great community. I'm 82 years old, and I've been in the neighborhood for my 82 years. And the neighborhood is changing a great deal. A comment was that there's a need for the beer and wine license at this particular establishment. I don't think the need is there at all. I think when you have 3 or 4 or 5 in the area, there's no need for another one. In closing, I'm also a trustee of Briarwood Condominiums, which is almost across the street from this area, and we have 58 units over there, and we don't have any trouble with our neighborhood, and that's one of the main things that I'm concerned about, is to keep the neighborhood as it has been. Thank you.
Anyone else in opposition? In opposition? In opposition? All right, that portion of the hearing is closed. Attorney Zames, is there anything you'd like to add?
Just very briefly, Mr. Commissioners. You know, we're here today and you have, the community has come out and there are some people for and there are some people against. And I'll tell you, that's what's great about this being America, whether you can come and you can speak in favor, you can come and speak against. Okay? You know, the past few weeks, I know that they've been playing hockey down at Fenway Park, but you know, baseball is still America's favorite pastime. Competition, free enterprise, these things are good. As I listen to the people, some of the people speaking in opposition, and I respect their concerns, to address a few of those with respect to a need for another beer and wine license located in this particular area within the city limits of Lowell. As this commission knows, there is a statutory scheme that has been set up by the legislature to determine the number of liquor licenses, beer and wine licenses, and things of that nature that are allowed within each city and town within the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Having said that, the Massachusetts law, the statutory scheme is in effect, has determined that in Lowell there are 22, the city of Lowell is able to sustain 22 beer and wine licenses. They're the people who come up with this formula with the Alcohol Beverage Control Commission, have said that the city of Lowell can sustain 22. Presently in use, and the last time I checked, which was in December with, when we were here the first time, Mr. Wynn indicated that only half of those, or 11 of them, were in use. So right now, the city of Lowell is underutilizing the amount of beer and wine licenses that are available to it. In terms of, that suggests that the people who do this, the mathematical, the numbers say there's a need, or at least there's a need for 11 more, or that the city could sustain 11 more. You know, as I listen to some of the, you know, the comments about there is no need, but the rest of that sentence, that decision that talks about the need, the Ballarin decision says need and or public good. And I think the public good would be well served here by competition. You know, as I thought about this in terms of competition, in this very city of Lowell, you have competition that the public has benefited from from different businesses, not only in the sale of alcohol, beer and wine, but you look at, who would have thought if you put a Hannaford right across from a Demoulas out on Roger Street? Both have succeeded, and they're competing against each other. It's lower prices, better customer service. They're competing for your business. And ultimately, the consumers are in the better position. The gas stations right across the street, they compete, they put lower prices. I'm gonna sell gas at this price, and somebody comes over and says, no, I'm gonna beat you because I'm gonna go across the street because he's beating you today with this price. You see that competition on a daily basis. Who's served by that? The public's served by that. You look at Burger King, McDonald's, Wendy's, all right in the same street, all surviving. Everybody making changes to everybody, all these businesses making changes. Dunkin' Donuts is now selling sandwiches. Burger King, McDonald's, they're advertising gourmet coffees. It's competition to stay in business, to keep up with the other guys, and to be able to survive. And that's what my clients are here to do. That's what they're trying to do. I took a look at the phone book. Mr. Sykes talks about he's been in business, and they've had a great business there. But the reason Mr. Sykes is able to survive is because he puts out a superior product. He has great flowers. And that's why people keep going back to him. You look in the phone book. I brought the phone book. Do you know how many florists there are in the city of Lowell? For that matter, do you know how many lawyers there are in the city of Lowell? People go to take a look at any of these businesses, gas stations, liquor store, everything. It's competition, and that's how you survive in this business, by doing a good job, by keeping a well-run business. Good products, low prices, and that's what my clients want to compete. That's what they're here to do. So I think, in all fairness, some of the concerns that people have, my clients hear what their concerns are. They're willing to work and to do whatever they need to do to address any of these things, to make sure that these things, that if somebody's sitting out there and smoking something they're not supposed to be, they would have called the police before, and they'll call the police in the future. But I think that an opportunity should be given to my clients to compete and in the free market. And if it doesn't work for them and it's not worth their while, then they turn the license in. If it doesn't work, let the market bear. The market will secure itself.
All right, thank you.
Well, I guess I echo Attorney Zame's comments that it's great that there's so many people that came out this afternoon to speak either for or against it. And for me personally, it's a tough one because I know people that are speaking both for and against it. And I got many phone calls about this license, both for and against. I drive by this location every day. And it's a clean location. It has ample parking. I find it surprising that Jerry's Food Store is just a little bit down the road, and we didn't have anyone come and speak against that, which, to my recollection, we didn't have anyone come. So it makes me think that there's a little more going on than just, there's something else going on. There's some dynamic in the neighborhood that I'm unaware of. But when you come here and sit at this table, you don't check your common sense at the door. And I frequent many convenience stores, package stores, etc. Usually, people in the parking lot that are hanging out are scratching their scratch tickets or smoking a cigarette. You don't usually see people drinking alcohol in their car. That's my personal opinion. I observe usually people when I pull into parking lots, and I haven't seen that, anyone drinking in the car. I understand the concerns about the lighting. It is dark when you drive by at night, that area. I think Mr. Patel could improve the lighting in that storefront. The neighbors, if there are people, whether the license gets granted or not, if there are kids hanging out on the side of the store, should contact the police. I know Captain Webb will get someone out there to keep people from loitering in that area. As Attorney Zame said, we are allotted 22 licenses in the city, and we've only given out approximately 10 or 11 at this point. It's a busy stretch of road. There's a lot of population. I know there's a bad stigma against alcohol out there, but, you know, this store is also selling lottery products and tobacco products. And I don't see how, if they incorporated the beer and wine license, that would be have any effect on the neighborhood. It's a convenience store. If people want to go in and get their bread and a bottle of wine, I think this is a great place to do it. I was concerned with Jerry's Food Store down the street that there was no parking. That was my big concern with that store. This one has ample parking. And if they put out a superior product, people will be here. And I'm sure in order to draw customers to his store, Mr. Patel is going to make sure that that parking lot is clean, that there are no people loitering around. And if the neighborhood observes anyone doing that, they should call the police. So, in summation, I know there are people that are zealously advocating both ways, but I think with the people that spoke in favor in some of the phone calls I received, and from my observation of the neighborhood, I think there may be a need for a beer and wine license at that location.
May I speak, can I be out of order to challenge a statement you made?
All right, it would be out of order. We did close the public hearing session. We're in the decision phase.
Well, but I did see you raise your hand when.
He gets to read it.
Okay.
We can't.
He got to rebuttal.
He represents the petitioner. I guess I saw you raise your hand when I said no one spoke against Jerry's Food Store. If you did speak, I apologize, but there were very few in comparison to today.
A group of us who spoke against it, and the only reason Jerry's Food Store was able to get that liquor license was because of the state Supreme Court ruling against the church not having a say if it did not affect the operation of the church. And we challenged this all the way into Boston. We went into a hearing, and I think some of the people here went into that meeting with us. And we challenged at the Boston meeting your decision to grant that license. And so I just wanted to make sure there was a correction.
That's fine. I stand corrected. I just from my recollection, it was a little over, probably a year and a half, 2 years ago. It seemed to me that there were a lot more people that spoke in favor than against. That was my recollection. I apologize if I'm wrong on that.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I would challenge your
Okay.
Okay, well, I'll accept your representation as to what happened. And with respect to that you guys went down to Boston to challenge the decision, I'm assuming since Boston granted the license, they upheld our analysis and said that it was correct.
Our challenge from the church was the location. It was within less than 100 yards of the church. And there was a state Supreme Court ruling against the church being able to, I know you people are aware that at one time the church or a school had almost a final say in granting of this type of thing because of distance and location of this type of business. But we did challenge both here and the decision.
If I may.
And if I may, I mean, my analysis on it is kind of the same. If there are juvenile delinquents from the neighborhood hanging out at that store, all right, everybody who sees them, pick up the phone, call 911, have them arrested. They'll be arraigned right down the street here in juvenile court. If these kids are hanging out there causing problems, pick up the phone, dial 911, have them arrested. Okay? If people are being approached in the parking lot to buy tobacco for underage people, you've just now had somebody solicit you to commit a crime. That's an offense. Pick up the phone, call 911, have them arrested. Okay? If these kids in the neighborhood are a problem, start doing something about it. Don't just walk by it, do nothing, and say, well, I've seen it, or I've ignored it. That's setting that issue aside with the kids. If these kids are creating problems, pick up the phone, get the cops down there, have them arrested. We don't need those type of people growing up to be full adult criminals in the neighborhood. all right? Because, they'll start off, and in a couple of years from now, they'll be breaking into houses, okay? That's my big concern with the kids in the area. And let me ask, who is the plaza owner, and why does the area have lighting issues? Does anybody know who the plaza owner is?
I do. Is it, the plaza owner actually, you'll see in the package, there was the lease agreement. It's Southwood Plaza LLC. They're a family that lives up in Pelham, New Hampshire. And we'll gladly address the lighting concerns. And I'm not sure of the pronunciation of the last name. I think it's like Tawadris.
Okay.
They own the plaza. They maintain the premises outside. We can certainly approach them ask them to increase the lighting on that end of the parking lot or permission to fix lighting on the outside of, at my client's expense, to fix lighting outside to light up that corner, if you will, but ask them permission to do it on the outside of the building.
Okay. That is something that I think any business owner in that neighborhood, if there's a concern with the lighting in that neighborhood, if there's a concern with whether or not there's people hanging around and creating unsavory character to that plaza, that is a landlord's responsibility. Please bring it to their attention. With respect to whether or not there is a need in the neighborhood, I don't know if there is or not. I don't know how many people are going in and asking. I don't know how many people are going by because it's not available. I do know that if there was only one liquor license in the city of Lowell, it would sell only liquor. I do know if there were two, they would sell liquor and chips because they would have to compete with the other one. All right, and do the math as you go out. If there was only one bar in Lowell, they'd never serve food. But because restaurants are allowed to serve beer and wine, a lot of the newer establishments that have been opening in the city have been restaurants that have bars, as opposed to the old days we used to have, the watering holes that everybody, you went in, it was a bar and nothing else. The city of Lowell is growing and it's changing a lot, and it's changing in very positive ways because when these businesses are competing against each other, they have to offer more than just the same old in order to draw people in. The new restaurants that we've seen open in the last 4 or 5 years have got better lighting, better menus. They've got more access in and out off the street. They're cleaner, they're better decorated. We just had one place open up that's got beautiful tile flooring that looks like it belongs in a hotel room rather than in a restaurant. So I do echo that competition does have its benefits. Now I will tell you that we have seen some people come in here, get licenses, and not renew them the next year because there's no money to be made. They quickly found out whether or not there was a need in that neighborhood because they're either going to write a check to the city of Lowell for a license, and if it's not going to make as much money as another product on the shelf, they're going to turn it back in. Or if it creates too many hassles, they're going to turn it back in. We have had places not renew as a result of not being able to compete. I don't know if we've had any package stores at this point, but I think we have had a restaurant or two that have not renewed. In any event, if the concern is that there are places within the 1.5-mile radius, I think if there's no need, one of them will be out of business, and it will be the one that offers the worst product, the one that offers the worst access, the one that offers the worst convenience, and the one that people just don't want to shop at because it's in a bad neighborhood or otherwise unsavory area. I think if we grant this license, there's going to be a lot of pressure on your client to keep his place attractive, competitive, and a place where people want to go to. Because, let's be honest, right? People make their decisions about shopping at, Hannaford's versus shopping at Market Basket, based on a lot of things. Sometimes it's just the way they drive home and what's easier to get in and out of. Sometimes it's what's in the neighborhood. Sometimes it's who has the friendliest cashiers, and sometimes it's who has the best selection of this product or that product. All right? For the most part, product drives a lot of it. And people are going to go someplace where they can get what they want to get in as few trips as possible. Even as a single guy, I do occasionally go to a grocery store. But I think that a market will quickly figure out whether or not there is a need here. And I think that if it turns into a liquor store, it will quickly find that it is competing against package stores that have full liquor licenses that offer more variety, that offer more selection, that offer more square footage, and it will quickly find that it is out of business. All right? I think if this Economart turns into trying to compete with a full-size package store, it will not be able to, because the full-size package stores offer a lot more product for people who are shopping. If it's selling beer and wine as a convenience, and it's an item where somebody comes in, picks up something, and a six-pack, they may find that it's a lucrative market. If there is problems with people drinking in the parking lot, I would expect that the police are called. So, my thoughts. Anything else? I'm inclined to make a motion to approve the issuance of the license.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say yes.
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 Thank you.
I didn't vote for you, and I wouldn't again.
No, he's right there. I saw him. No, it's all right. No, there you go.
That's all right, no problem.
Yes, sir. I do. Would you like me sign it or my client? Would you like me to sign it or my client? Does it matter to you? Does it matter to you? She sent them, so I had her sign it.
It's okay. I'll notarize it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll notarize it. No problem. Okay, all right, excellent.
Thank you very much. I'm right over there, on my right.
Okay.
How are you? Good. Happy New Year, by the way. Thanks.
Commission now open a hearing on an application for a malt beverages and wine only packaged goods store license by Market Street Market, Inc. Jeanette S. Nason is the president. for premises at 95 Market Street. It's a retail store, approximately 1,500 square feet. It is requested that Jeanette S. Nason be approved as the manager of record for Market Street Market, Inc. Commissioner Bayless, the applicant has evidence of an affidavit to have notified property owners touching, and there is a church within 500 feet, the St. Joseph's the Worker Shrine, which is on, there's an envelope with the white postal slips and return receipts.
Introduce yourself for the record.
Mr. Chairman, George Ciolides, Jr., 133 Market Street, Lowell, and I'm here representing the applicant today. I noticed that the minute I stood up, I cleared the crowd out. It's the first time that's ever happened that I've stood up and everybody left the chambers, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, but you're a very frightening person, George. Plus, I think what Attorney Zame said during his presentation is there is far too many lawyers.
I was going to ask. I was going to ask if you knew of any process where we could limit them. I would agree with him on that there are far too many.
Okay.
I'm here on behalf of Jeanette Nason, who's with me today. Jeanette owns and operates a market on Market Street with the novel name of the Market Street Market.
Okay.
And she's done that almost a year. Jeanette and her husband live in Reading, and they decided to invest in Lowell because they're part of that group now who's come to the city and seen, as Commissioner Occasion indicated, a lot of great things happening in this city and a lot of people investing in this city. And she's done that, she and her husband. And they are truly a two-person operation. She and her husband are there the entire time they're open. They're open, by the way, weekdays from 7:30 in the morning till 8 at night, and weekends from 8 in the morning till 5 at night. They principally sell market goods. They're a mini Demoulas Market Basket Hannafords. They're there to serve the downtown people who are in the city now. As we know, there are so many residential members of the community with as much produce and things as they can produce, the typical grocery store things, together with fresh produce, fresh food, fresh fruit. They also make some sandwiches, and they also pre-cook some things so that if you're at 5 o'clock at night, you leave the office. I wish I left at 5 o'clock at night. And by the way, I'm 3 doors down, and I'm shamefully, my cell phone is going, Mr. Chairman. I never let that happen, and I apologize to the board. I'm 3 doors down, so I'm not only the advocate, I'm an abutter here. So when you leave
More importantly, are you a customer?
A customer, of course.
Oh, okay.
She and her husband want to be able to make just beer and wine, a very limited amount, for the benefit of their takeout customers who are going to get their food and go to the apartments in the area. Principally, it'll be for the downtown people. We certainly don't expect someone to come in from Chelmsford or Tewksbury.
She has does she have an area for them to eat in if they wanted to buy a sandwich and sit there?
She has a couple of small places where they can
now,
eat.
And I'll just note that
Go
in
ahead.
good weather, they're actually outside.
Oh, here we go.
Again, also a customer.
Also, I'm at a loss here. Okay.
And that's about
So
it.
if she
We
gets
wanna-
the beer and wine license, she's going to allow people to sit at the table in the restaurant or outside? That no.
She's gonna let
It's
them
strictly going to be
Not-
retail.
not cer-
I know,
not-
but I want to make sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
if you
will-
can walk in and have a sandwich, you can buy a Coke and sit there, right?
Let me introduce Jeanette to you. She already said that to me. No one's going to be drinking with their
That's just
sandwiches.
what
So put it in the bag, take it home.
Yeah.
Not meant to be,
Yeah, but like I said, you got sandwiches, like people can go and buy a sandwich, and you've got a little area there to accommodate them to sit down
Right.
and have a coffee or a soda or something, but they're not
right.
going
But I do realize they're two completely different licenses,
Okay.
and I didn't
That's
even-
all, I was just
didn't-
wanted to be
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I'm old.
Yeah. No, my lawyer just
Yeah,
brought
yeah.
that to my attention today, and it's something we hadn't considered at all.
Okay. You've been there, tell me about it. You look like you've been there.
Tough crowd. Yeah.
In favor or against?
We'll get to that one. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Anybody want to speak in favor of this? In favor? In favor? That portion of the hearing's closed. You can get up and talk on it if you'd like. Anybody want to speak in opposition? In opposition, in opposition, that portion of the hearing's closed. What's your pleasure?
No, I mean, my general observation has been that it's a very well-run business. You're not open late. I know the only concern that anybody in the neighborhood has ever said to me regarding this was, well, what if they're open at 11 o'clock and people are like leaving a bar and getting a to-go package from the place next door? Your hours don't support that, I know that. So, and that was kind of the analysis I made on it, so I would assume that you're not going to have any change in the hours for the most part based on this?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely
How about
So you're not going to have people there at like 11 o'clock at night giving people that six-pack for the road,
No.
right?
I don't want to be working at 11 o'clock at night, neither does my husband. So, yeah.
I'm also a customer.
I think we got to have a couple of disclaimers here.
And I know that they work hard because I think it might have been it was either Easter Sunday or the 4th of July. It was the only place open in downtown Lowell in the morning.
Yeah,
4th of July. Must have been
actually both, but it was the 4th of July, I bet, yeah.
Yeah, and it was the only place open in Lowell where you could go in and get something, and I did go in that day, so I know they work hard.
With that, I'll make the motion to approve because I don't want them to be in conflict.
I just had one question. I'm sure. Your attorney, I'm sure, has gone over the rules and regulations of the license with you?
Yes.
Okay. And have you been involved in any other establishments that serve alcohol or have possessed this license?
No.
But you're assuring me that you're going to become fully aware with the rules and regulations of the ABCC and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts?
We've had that discussion.
Okay, great. I second the motion then.
Yeah.
Motion made, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Anything? Motion made and seconded, all in favor, say yes.
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 Good luck.
Good luck.
We thank you very much. Happy New
And I
Year.
know that you're only pushing this, that you can go and pick that six-pack up to bring back to the office at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say that I live in the neighborhood as opposed to just working in the neighborhood, but anyway, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. That was a lot quicker.
Okay. I made the motion because they both eat there. And, if we're gonna,
He's right, it is one of the only places open on the weekend. It's the first thing open down there.
is there any restaurant you haven't been to?
Thank you very much. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
There's a few restaurants I've missed.
It's,
I'm working on it.
Just one other matter on the agenda for today is the fact that there is another application which I received while during our Christmas recess, if you will, in which it's the license applicant is Amal Fuel Inc., doing business as Drum Hill Golf. Richard Outcoury is the president. It's for a beer and wine package store license for premises at 1299 Westwood Street. This is the Drum Hill section of the city of Lowell, and so happens, I believe, the building itself sits right on the Lowell-Chelmsford line, and the front door is the city of Lowell, and the back door is the town of Chelmsford. And legal counsel will be representing the applicant. The papers are in order. I had as far as my review of the response to the questions and completion of the various aspects of that application. So there would be a legal notice published in the paper of the Lowell Sun tomorrow. The applicant's attorney has the property owners touching. There is no church, school, or hospital within 500 feet. Most of there's only like 3 abutters, and I believe it's primarily a business.
yeah, McDonald's, with a lot of kids there.
And,
But then on the other hand, we've got to find out the layout of it, because we want to make sure that the bathrooms aren't low. We want the bathrooms in the Chelmsford portion of the building, so, we're going to make sure they didn't hook them up to dead of night.
So it might flow into
Well, but that's one of our major concerns. Okay, that's all your agenda?
Yes.
All right. I was giving some thought to these licenses that they they're granting to variety stores and gas stations and things like this. And I can't help but wonder, you know, you know, I've always said that I'm against them. I don't fault you for what you did, because I'm at a point right now myself where I'm just, you know, if they qualify, give it to them and get rid of them, because they've turned out to be a pain in the neck. But I am concerned because it's not a level playing field. And I've said this before. A package store that gets penalized, like the guy on Concord Street, we shut him down. He doesn't earn a living. He has no way of making any money. If a fellow has a variety store and he sells to a minor, he still has a source of making a living every day. And, you know, so he rides out the storm, and he, you know, unless we take the license away, and the way Boston's going right now, you'd have to have, you know, 17 violations before they'd, you know, consider. So I'm just wondering. I'm wondering out loud. Insurance. Can this board require people that have a beer and wine license to carry liquor liability? And if they can, how is it policed, and how do we do it? Some of them are sitting back, and I'm sure they're flying on a shoestring. They're trying to make something that it wasn't, or at least that's the way I look at it. They bought a two-wheel trailer, and they're trying to make a Winnebago out of it, and it's not going to work. But I'm concerned about public safety. I'm concerned about, you know, I think people that have a full-fledged variety liquor store probably carries insurance. All right?
But I would hope that any business subject to any type of liability, whether it be liquor liability or slip and fall liability, would carry insurance. I mean,
I know, but
I'd tell
liquor
you that
liability
any
is a
business-
specialty unto itself.
And any
You're
entity that's out there
talking-
not carrying it, it's foolish.
Exactly. And when you go, I mean, when you get liability insurance for somebody, I mean, I own a business, and you could talk to other business owners, liability for somebody falling on your property is one thing, but liquor liability is in a category by itself. And I'm just wondering if we're being neglectful in allowing all of these things to happen, and we're not saying to them, well, look, you know, you're stepping into somebody else's arena. Maybe we ought to look at, and so.
But do we require the full liquor stores?
No, we don't.
No.
We never have.
Right.
But I mean, if that's what it's gonna take, I would think that they would have, because that is their sole source of livelihood, is that liquor store, that full package store. What we're talking about is somebody taking on something that is exposing them to a totally separate liability from anything, you know, else that they would be involved with in their store. They don't need insurance for Keno, they don't need it for, you know, I mean, people, you know, scratch tickets, all that nonsense. Alcohol, beer and wine is a liability, but I'm just wondering, and I pose this to you, Mr. Secretary, or can we write to the law department and ask them if they could research this, or do we, I'm looking
I already know the answer to that. Yes, we can require it. We'd have to have a public hearing on it if we're going to adopt a regulation with respect to liquor licensing, requiring appropriate insurance. It is within our authority to do.
Is it discriminatory to require beer and wine and not require full package stores?
It probably wouldn't be upheld in the courts, but that doesn't mean we can't do it.
Well, I mean, we could find
I mean,
out.
we could do it, and then we can end up in the situation where we've got, you know, problems. It would have to be, I mean.
The other
it's
thing, though,
generally
is
gotta
how do
be
you enforce
supported.
it?
The same way we enforce people having to have a fire inspection or a building inspection
But
prior to
then
getting a
renew the
renewal.
license, they
Yeah.
show their bond.
Yeah, but with the insurance company, I mean, but, okay, but you hire, I mean, one of the things, and I probably shouldn't use this as an example, because a friend of mine will kill me, but one of the things they often talk about is like roofers. Roofers will pay the first premium to get the certificate.
Yep.
And then they let it lapse, but they got the certificate, so then the liability falls to you to call up the insurance company to see if he's paid.
Well, if I can give you a more practical example as far as the licensing board is concerned, it has to do with the sale of secondhand motor vehicles. Those that are licensed by Massachusetts law, those who have licensed Class 2 used car dealer license in the cities and towns, are required to have a $25,000 bond. Now, initially, when the license is to be issued, they provide documentation that they have the bond, and it's to be filed with the local licensing authority, a certificate, an original certificate. Subsequent to the original filing, there is no requirement on the licensee's part to produce documentation that they maintain that liability policy. Over the course, since this law took effect, I'm going to guess, say 5 years ago, each year subsequent to the initial enactment of the law, in which the License Commission was now responsible for all, making sure that those that have granted the license and those that are presently licensed, or at the time presently licensed, were to obtain this bond. When I request certification, I am being given a response that it's not required of the licensee to submit such a certification as it's been renewed. They're not compelled to do so by state law. That's been supported by the Registry of Motor Vehicles. So the Massachusetts insurance industry has it such that, much like you might allude to if it's a roofing business, you obtain your liability policy, you show proof that you have a liability policy, but subsequent to the initial proof of a record, there's nothing that would compel, at least in the city Lowell License Commission is concerned, to force the issue of their being, having maintained that liability policy. They will sign an application to renew their Class 2 license, used car dealer, specific to that. And in that, it will be a statement that they've maintained that policy. But that's just a signed statement. Worst case scenario is if you were a buyer of a vehicle from that used car dealer and you want to sue the dealer and you get the matter before the court and the judge rules in your favor, then the business owner is liable and should have proof of bond. Now, what does the court do if they don't have the bond or proof that the bond is still in existence? I couldn't answer that. The License Commission wouldn't be dealing with that issue. This would be really a court matter, I would think. So if the beer and wine licensee package store is required to have liability policy, but not the all-alcoholic package store licensee, based on a License Commission regulation, are we being discriminatory? Are we being in some way, shape, or form arbitrary and capricious, I guess? Is that a fair way of describing it?
Probably.
You understand that?
I understood him exactly, and he's probably hitting the
All right, well,
exact
look,
analysis we get hit
The
with.
easiest thing to do would be
If the board would like, I will just communicate to the law department
Yeah.
requesting a review of the circumstances.
All right?
Yeah, let's send it to the law department, ask them for a review, and if at the next meeting it's something that we can do, we can schedule I think before we adopt any regulations, we have to schedule a public hearing on them.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we can address it.
I'm just really concerned about some of it. I just think that we're, Anything else, anybody? Anything, Captain?
No, nothing, Mr. Chairman.
No? Christmas, New Year's, nice and quiet?
Very quiet,
Everybody was good?
so far as I know.
Don't you love it?
Just wish everybody a Happy New Year.
Yep. Happy New Year, that's pretty good, yep. I'll go for a
I'll
motion.
make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Coming home, Benjamin. I had the mic.